Rory McIlroy get the green jacket, which most people don't really want a green jacket, but there you do. You ever seen anybody wear a green jacket like in public? I've never seen anyone wear a green jacket in public. Anyway, at the Augusta tournament, it's a big deal. So he got the green jacket. He's got that. And jumbo-size check, one of those cartoon checks for $4.2 million. $4.2 million. That's a jumbo-size check right there. The runner-up, Justin Rose, the loser, first loser, he only got $2.2 million. So after taxes, that's like 0.2 after taxes. And $21 million was dished out from the tournament. They're not allowed to talk about that, though, on the broadcast because they don't like to admit that it's all about the money. They think it's about something else. But that is the second major in a row where Mr. Rose has finished second. So runner-up doesn't get it done. So let us discuss the events here. Do you find how Rory McIlroy got her done and won the green jacket? Significant how he had the lead going to the back nine, gagged it, and then ended up forcing the extra playoff and then ends up winning it. So I've got steering wheel, bamboo, and brand ambassador. And we will combine all of these things together, and we're going to give you a headache unless we don't. We're going to try not to give you a headache. So, do you find, the question again, do you find how Rory McIlroy won the Masters significant? Well, yes, right now, in the moment, 100%. And the way these things work over the course of time, you're not going to remember what happened. You're going to remember he won it. You're not going to remember exactly the events of the day. But right now, in this moment, yes, we are remembering, and that is certainly a big part of the story. So I'm nodding my head yes to answer the question there. It will fade over time. We only have so much space in our little brains there to remember all this nonsense. But McIlroy was absolutely in control. And it was to the point where I was like, oh, this is going to be boring. No, this is going to be boring. But then I realized it's golf, and there are no bigger choke artists than golfers. The last day of a major. It is a tradition unlike any other. Golfers gagging on the back nine. And there we were, set up yet again. Originally, after 9 holes, the broadcast, the tone was like this was a coronation for Rory McIlroy. But in the back of my head, I was like, well, he's had some big gags. And the old slip on the banana peel. So for 68 of the 72 holes over the weekend, McIlroy was a dominant figure at Augusta National. And in those 68 holes, Rory McIlroy was 19 under par. Of course, the problem is you play 72. The other 4 holes, don't ask. The 68 holes where he was 19 under, that's one stroke off of Dustin Johnson's Masters record of 20 under. But that was during the COVID where there were no patrons and at the event and all that stuff, so the conditions were different. But we were waiting for that trap door to open up. We were hoping the trap door would open up, and sure enough, it did, although it didn't open up all the way into the pit of vipers because Rory McIlroy ended up, if you've seen, we only really talk about the majors here, but there's been many missed putts. There have been many collapses. And on cue, right around the midway point there, Rory McIlroy sat. He moved over the seat. He moved over to the driver's seat, and he got behind the steering wheel, and he decided to drive the struggle bus. And boy, did he do it. Almost completely into a ditch. Driving the struggle bus. Roy blew a 2-shot lead in 2 holes at the beginning, but then he got a 4-shot lead, and on the back nine, in a matter, if my Maller math is correct here, in the matter of not 1, not 2, but 3 holes, that was all gonzo. So he effed that up right away, and much like an elevator, up and down, up and down, up and down. And during the weekend, now I mentioned 68 of the 72 holes, McIlroy, on his way to completing the career Grand Slam, was amazing, 19 under par. The other 4 holes, not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 double bogeys. Now, even if you're not a golf person, you know that's not good, right? Double bogey, not good. 2 of them on Thursday, but then he had none on Friday, none on Saturday, but he made sure to have not 1 but 2 on Sunday. And in the history of this event, the only person to win with even 3 double bogeys in the tournament was the Walrus, Craig Stadler, years ago. And so that means Rory McIlroy had the most terrible shots in 4 different holes, double bogey, double bogey, double bogey, double bogey, and end up winning the tournament there. So he wins. Also, he tied for the largest first-round deficit, another reason not to watch the first round of the Masters, but down 7 shots, and he comes back and wins. That is tied for the largest rally back. Now, page 2. As for the mainstream, the elitist golf media and their narrative, if you've been paying attention, it's essentially after 11 years without a major. What does this victory say about Rory McIlroy? And they are laying it on thick. I am talking full bubble bath for Rory McIlroy, and they're just over the top. Now, listen, was it a case of resilience? Sure. But McIlroy kind of like the bamboo. The phrase of the bamboo there. The bamboo bends in the wind, and McIlroy certainly bent in the wind. He did not break, and it's not a case where he just flat out was at the top of Suck Mountain for the last decade plus. There's this misnomer that McIlroy was just god-awful, and then he came back and he won, and it's like this great redemption story, and it was his 17th start at Augusta, and the nerds have pointed out that is the second most to get the first win at Augusta. Sergio Garcia had gone 19 consecutive Masters. I think it was consecutive 19 Masters starts without winning before he had. But the 11-year gap, now that is tied for the longest span between major wins. However, he was not trash. It wasn't garbage over that stretch. He won 19 times on the PGA Tour over those 10 years. So he was averaging, it was 11 years, but he was averaging about two wins per year. And there were a bunch of other high finishes as well. He was only outside of the nerd golf rankings, the world golf rankings, 1 year out of those 11 years. So for the most part, he was still among the top players in the sport, among the top 10 in the sport. And he had 6 of those years where he was in the top 3. So, again, he was hanging around. You make a lot of money at golf, not winning, but just kind of hanging out in the top 10. You make a lot of money doing that. They pay a lot of money. Rich people love golf. It's a rich man's sport. I went to go buy golf clubs. I was thinking about buying golf clubs last year. And I went to a golf shop, and I saw how much they wanted for new golf clubs. I walked right out. I said, I'm done. I don't like golf that much. I'm going to golf like once every 6 months at the most. I ain't putting that kind of cash down on something I'm going to do once every 6 months. But it's a rich man elitist game, and that's why they have so much money. You can finish in the top 10, and you're good to go. And listen, we know he won a bunch of tournaments, McIlroy. However, Rory McIlroy, nobody pays attention to the Waste Management Open other than when the hoodlums go there, just get hammered and cause debauchery. But other than that, it's like, you're not watching these other tournaments. Only the hardo golf people are watching. That's the issue. The rank and file watch the majors, and that's it. And that's the problem with the sport. Now, last word. So Jim Nantz is part of the story here. Jim Nantz, who is synonymous with this event, he has embraced it. He is into it. He's all about it. So Jim Nantz made there were a couple of calls. There was a lot of silence after Rory McIlroy won the green jacket. I think we have some audio here that we're going to play, though. But his line after McIlroy got very emotional, Nantz is being called out for this. Take a listen to the call on this.
Tosses his putter and crumbles to the sacred side.
Yeah, there's a lot of ambient noise. I don't know if you could hear that. Play it again. Let's hear it.
Tosses his putter and crumbles to the sacred side.
So Jim Nantz, if you couldn't hear that because there was a lot of ambient crowd noise there, Nantz said he clutches his putter and then he stumbles to the sacred sod was what he said. That last part That is the key part of this. Jim Nantz describing the emotion of Rory Mcilroy and that he stumbled to the sacred sod. So how do you rank this call? How do you rank this call? So I've thought about it. Some people are very upset. How can you say that? It's just a stupid golf course and all that stuff. I would argue if you hire Jim Nantz to call a golf tournament or any sporting event, this is what you're going to get, right? That's who Jim Nantz is. That is the essence of Jim Nantz. That if you're an aficionado of his work, this is what you want. That's the kind of bullcrap you want from a guy like Jim Nantz. You know you're going to get it. Jim Nantz is like the brand ambassador of Cheetos, right? It ain't easy being cheesy, but that's Jim Nantz, man. The guy's just a cheese ball. He's always been a cheese ball. And I've known a lot of guys like that in the broadcasting business. There's a lot of hard-o dudes like Jim Nantz. And, hey, Nantz is much more successful than I'll ever be, so good for him. But he's a hard-o. I mean, come on. He's like a puffy guy, too, in the booth, right? He's like at that dangerously cheesy, I think was their slogan back in the day, for the cheese from Jim Nantz. And that's just the way it is. Listen, for him, I get it. This is the Mecca. This is what he's known for, the Masters and all that. And so if you want cheese, boom, check. If you want extra syrupy, check. Nantz will make it extra syrupy for you, 100%. And it is amusing, though, when you juxtapose the event this weekend and how we were in here on Friday before the weekend. And the story, remember the story from round one? You talk about going full circle at the 89th Masters. So the Masters began on Thursday, and some no-name golfer who had gone to Arizona State treated the sacred sod, as Jim Nantz likes to call it there, as an outhouse by taking a leak at Rays Creek. And then it ends with the golfer on his hands and knees there on the, again, sacred sod of Augusta. So they have certainly gone full circle.